The financial status of Neviss continues to recover from the COVID-19 pandemic, said Premier Mark Brantley when he reported on Neviss's fiscal performance so far for 2023. Premier Brantley made the report at the 6th July sitting of the Neviss Island Assembly. He said revenue performance over 2022 for the same period was up, while higher expenditure over 2022 for the year so far is attributable to recent planned rise in salaries.
Madam President, the signs thus far are encouraging as we fight our way out of the recent global pandemic, the COVID-19 pandemic. The revenue performance has improved. Current revenue, January to June 2023, now stands at $76,284,300. The same period in 2022 saw current revenue of $68,051,124. So it means that current revenue is up by some $8.2 million or 12.1% this year over last year. On the expenditure side, Madam President, total expenditure January to June 2023, including our debt servicing obligations, stands at $108,741,545, which is up some $14.6 million, representing a 15.6% increase over the same period last year. Of that expenditure, personal emoluments, driven largely by the historic salary increase thus far to public servants, amounted to $44.2 million, up some $3.5 million or 8.21%. Capital expenditure rose significantly during this period, largely due to ongoing road construction, from $17.8 million for the January to June period in 2022 to $24.4 million for the same period this year, for a 37.4% increase in capital expenditure. It is commendable. We are, I believe, on the right track.
The sitting also included the laying of the Neviss Island Administration's audited accounts for 2022 on the table and the first readings of two business-related amendment bills. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline. CARICOM leaders who attended the 45th meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government of the Caribbean Community held in Trinidad 3rd to the 5th of July have agreed to allow the complete free movement of CARICOM citizens. The decision was presented to the news media following the end of the CARICOM meeting. Current CARICOM Chairman Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit of Dominica asked Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley to address the matter. To achieve the new status, Prime Minister Mottley explained, some amendments will have to be made to the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, along with legal adjustments in member states of the organization.
The heads have agreed that we are now moving beyond just the freedom of movement of skills to freedom of movement of people. Out of an abundance of caution and to be sure-footed, there are some aspects of the amendment, and therefore we are giving ourselves between now and the 30th of March 2024 to make the amendments, because we recognize as well that there may have to be an approach that does not put countries or make countries liable to any forms of suit with respect to some of the rights. So there has to be a minimum set of rights guaranteed for the movement of citizens. That will be discussed and agreed upon. That will be captured in the amendments to the treaty. That will also have to be financed, and we're looking at the CARICOM Development Fund as being able to put in place the mechanism to guarantee that each country can bring its minimum level of services up to the same acceptable period and level. Against that backdrop, we give ourselves these few months.
When implemented, the current movement based only on skilled categories of people will come to an end. However, until the socio-political disturbance in Haiti ends, nationals of Haiti still have to obtain visas to travel to other CARICOM member states. Glenn Bart reporting for SK Newsline.
It's beautiful. He took one look at you and the angels started singing.
Another wonderful day.
What would you say about staying here for a few months or like a year, just so that we can be together again and just live and love and laugh and have fun and breathe?
Why are you hiding out on a little Caribbean island, singing in a beach bar?
When I came here, I was at peace, and I never left.
This is the beating heart of Neviss. This is what grounds me, what feeds my soul. It's where I found myself.
I hope your life here will be full of joy. Love this island, my son. She will give you more than you can imagine.
Online radio has never been this great. It's Voice of the Caribbean Radio at voiceofthecaribbean.net. Tune into Voice of the Caribbean Radio for great Caribbean programs, news, entertainment, sports, and current affairs. Wake up each morning and be inspired with One Day at a Time with Kim Huey. Stay abreast with news across the Caribbean and internationally with the Caribbean News Hour, and be entertained with shows like Reggaeville, Caribbean Classics, and Jive Music Show. Visit our website, download our Android mobile app, or listen us on TuneIn Radio. There is so much more on Voice of the Caribbean Radio, reaching the Caribbean and beyond. Check website or app for program schedule.
The SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips.
On July 3rd, His Honor Ronald Benjamin sentenced 4 men to His Majesty's prison on multiple drug possession and importation charges. The charges were previously laid following a major drug find by local authorities on a cargo boat, MV Elizabeth C, at the St. Kitts Deepwater Port on October 4th, 2022. The contraband consisted of cocaine and cannabis. The cocaine registered a weight of 801.3 kilograms with a street value of $71,369,100. The cannabis had a street value of $140,160. The charges and prison sentences are as follows. Salim Kevin Ali of Trinidad was sentenced to 3 years for possession of cannabis with intent to supply and 3 years for the importation of cannabis. His sentences are set to run concurrently at His Majesty's prison. Peter Oliver Scotland of Trinidad was sentenced to 5 years and 4 months for the possession of cocaine with intent to supply, 5 years and 4 months for the importation of cocaine, and 5 years and 4 months for the possession of cocaine. His sentences are set to run concurrently at His Majesty's prison. Michael Javan Jack of Trinidad was sentenced to 3 years for the importation of cannabis, 3 years for the possession of cannabis with intent to supply. His sentences are set to run concurrently at His Majesty's prison. Desu McFarlane of CARICOM was sentenced to 8 years and 4 months for possession of cocaine with intent to supply, 8 years and 4 months for the importation of cocaine, 4 years and 10 months for the importation of cannabis, 4 years and 10 months for the possession of cannabis with intent to supply, and 8 years and 10 months for the possession of cannabis. His sentences are set to run concurrently at His Majesty's prison. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force once again extends its gratitude and commendation to the St. Kitts Nevis Customs Enforcement Division and the St. Kitts and Nevis Defense Force, Coast Guard Operational Division for their strong collaboration and stellar assistance in this matter. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline. The Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force is investigating the shooting death of Garvey Rogers of Poland, Connery. The crime was committed in the early morning hours of July 4th between 1:30 a.m. and 2 a.m. at Osborne Street in Cairn. The preliminary investigations indicate that shortly after exiting his vehicle, Mr. Rogers and an accompanying female were fired upon by a number of armed assailants. Mr. Rogers was struck multiple times about the body. He succumbed to his injuries and was pronounced dead at the scene. The female accompanying him was uninjured. However, further investigations revealed that the onslaught has left one female to be grazed on her right thigh while standing at a restaurant on the Keon Main Road. She was treated at the JNF Hospital, Accident and Emergency Department, and is reported to be in stable condition. The crime scene unit processed the scenes and items of evidential value were taken into police custody. The police are investigating. I'm Andre Huey for SKN Newsline.
It's beautiful. He took one look at you and the angels started singing.
Another wonderful day.
What would you say about staying here for a few months or like a year, just so that we can be together again and just live and love and laugh and have fun and breathe?
Why are you hiding out on a little Caribbean island, singing in a beach bar?
When I came here, I was at peace, and I never left.
This is the beating heart of Neviss. This is what grounds me, what feeds my soul. It's where I found myself.
I hope your life here will be full of joy. Love this island, my son. She will give you more than you can imagine.
Online radio has never been this great. It's Voice of the Caribbean Radio at voiceofthecaribbean.net. Tune into Voice of the Caribbean Radio for great Caribbean programs, news, entertainment, sports, and current affairs. Wake up each morning and be inspired with One Day at a Time with Kim Huey. Stay abreast with news across the Caribbean and internationally with the Caribbean News Hour, and be entertained with shows like Reggaeville, Caribbean Classics, and Jive Music Show. Visit our website, download our Android mobile app, or listen us on TuneIn Radio. There is so much more on Voice of the Caribbean Radio, reaching the Caribbean and beyond. Check website or app for program schedule.
The SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips.
Speaking to journalists following the flag-raising ceremony in commemoration of the 50th anniversary of the Caribbean community on Tuesday, Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Dr. Amory Brown said topics on development financing, climate change, policy coordination, and the crime situation in Haiti will form part of the discussions during the 45th CARICOM meeting of the Conference of Heads of Government.
Haiti really is a pressing issue. I have to tell you, it was discussed already yesterday evening in a working session with the UN Secretary General. It will absorb some of the focus of the Heads Caucus tomorrow and is on the agenda today. The Prime Minister of Haiti being present is very important. And even when some of our guests come, such as the President of Rwanda and the senior U.S. delegation, Haiti is anticipated to form a core part of those discussions.
Minister Brown also spoke about Trinidad and Tobago's position during these discussions, noting that Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has given this country's full support as part of the CARICOM effort in providing humanitarian resources and supporting any mobilization efforts.
There's still a significant issue of challenges with nutrition and feeding of the people of Haiti. That's being discussed as well, creation of a humanitarian corridor to get aid in. Trinidad and Tobago, once these talks mature and are productive, will be part of these efforts as well.
Minister Brown said affirmative action is expected to follow these meetings in order to ensure progress is made.
We are not going to talk ourselves into a solution for Haiti, so action is required, and the United States of America is being regarded as a key component of mobilizing an international effort for and with the people of Haiti.
Ayana Carter, TTT News.
Opposition leader Mark Golding was today nominated to serve a second term as leader of the People's National Party. He's so far unchallenged, but nominations close on Friday, at which time he'll be sure if he will be challenged. Critics had earlier suggested he could face opposition from some among him as the party appeared divided at times. Golding is, however, humbled and grateful, adding that the party is more united and has received a boost from the recent polls showing increasing favorability.
You know, it's always a process that requires you to reflect on what you're doing and why you're doing it. Comes up every year. We actually amended the Constitution, so it will be a 2-year process going forward for the president and the vice presidents. But it's a process which allows you to reflect on the journey that you're on, and it's always very comforting to know that you still have the support of the people that you lead. And so, you know, I'm very happy today that it's gone very smoothly, and I look forward to leading the party forward to achieving government and becoming the next administration in charge of the affairs of the people of Jamaica.
Now to Afghanistan, where the Taliban have ordered hair and beauty salons to close within a month. The ruling is yet another blow for women's freedoms, which have been dramatically limited since the Taliban returned to power 2 years ago. Since then, girls have been banned from attending secondary schools, women have been prohibited from going to parks, travelling without a male companion and attending university. Our South Asia correspondent Yogita Lamai has more.
Late last year, I remember going to a salon in Kabul with 2 of our female colleagues. It wasn't for a news report. We just wanted to be in a casual space with Afghan women where we could interact with them away from the scrutiny of the Taliban. I remember we chatted, we laughed, we had a cup of tea, we got manicures done. We took a photo of what our nails looked like afterwards. We saw a bride getting ready for her wedding. For that 1 hour, I felt like I could be anywhere in the world, away from the reality that awaited these women when they stepped outside of the salon, into a world where girls are barred from secondary schools in most provinces, where women can't attend university, where women can't work for domestic or international NGOs. They're barred from parks, swimming pools, gyms, public baths, where if they have to travel long distances, they have to be escorted by a male relative, where they're expected to wear clothing with only their eyes visible. And for this latest restriction, the Taliban aren't even giving a reason, especially, and women are asking, this was a female-only space. There's no interaction between men and women in a salon. Why was it banned then? The Taliban say they're not giving the reason. Now they will give it at a suitable time. The women I've spoken to are devastated. One said she was shocked. One said she felt like she was trapped in a cage which kept shrinking every minute. You know, usually what I've seen is when a couple of months go by after one restriction is announced, women start beginning to hope that the Taliban will ease at some stage. That's the only way they can survive and go from day to day. And then you have another restriction being announced, which is a blow to those hopes. They've talked about feeling like they've been plunged into darkness. They believe that the Taliban's eventual intentions are to confine women into their homes.
Facebook and Instagram's parent company Meta is launching a new app that could rival Twitter. The Threads app will launch on Thursday. It will allow Instagram users to write posts while keeping their accounts and followers. On Saturday, the head of Twitter, Elon Musk, restricted the number of tweets users could see. Musk bought Twitter last year for $44 billion and has introduced a number of changes. Well, Musk responded to the news of a new arrival to his company by tweeting, "Thank goodness they're so sanely run." He took a jab at Meta top executive Chris Cox. Last month, Cox said users have been asking for a platform that is sanely run and is reliable. Well, Drew Benvey is from Bettenhall, a social media communications agency. He explained why changes at Twitter are creating opportunities for other social media companies.
This is perfect timing for Meta because other social networks had actually been benefiting from Twitter's turmoil in recent days and in recent weeks and months. Every time there's an outage, every time there's a policy change or safety moderators are let go of Twitter, people start voting with their fingers and starting to use other social networks that emulate Twitter. And as yet, there hasn't been a high-profile one, which is why Meta is launching Threads now. We use many social networks and we usually look for a few things: safety, free use in return for some advertising, for the advertising to be appropriate, and none of that seems to be happening at Twitter of late. Elon Musk seemed to, in the beginning, want to cut costs, and he did this by letting staff go. What happened then was the experience degraded, then advertisers left, and now, most recently, he seems to be trying to make money through selling user subscriptions, which is this Twitter Blue, and the response to Twitter going down over the weekend was to limit the use of Twitter to non-paying users, therefore trying to, I don't know if it's making money more important than stabilizing the service, but neither seem to be working. So I think his strategy is a bit too conflicted to be useful.
SKNFA President Atiba Harris and Technical Director Lenny Taylor returned to the Federation on Tuesday afternoon after being part of a delegation at the Sugar Boys' historic participation in the CONCACAF Gold Cup in the United States. Speaking shortly after the arrival at the Cayenne Jet Lounge at the RLB International Airport, the SKNFA President spoke about the significance of St. Kitts and Nevis qualifying for the Gold Cup and what this means for the Federation.
Just unifying a nation, unifying the country through football, through sports. There's so many persons sending messages. Enemies became friends during this time, and I think when Mervyn Lewis scored that winning penalty in the shootout, I saw grown men jumping for joy and partying throughout St. Kitts and Nevis and in the diaspora community.
He thanked the coaching staff, Technical Director Lenny Taylor, Prime Minister Dr. Terence Drew and the government of St. Kitts and Nevis for their support in helping the Sugar Boys achieve this milestone. He said with this qualification, the bar has been set as the SKNFA aims to raise the standard of football in the Federation.
We spoke of raising the standard. Raising the standard is more. It's now becoming a lifestyle, a way of life for us. We wanna aim for higher. We talk about it constantly. Now we're delivering, and now we're going to continue to deliver for the country, for the benefit of the country. We say country above self, and this we really mean country above self.
Meanwhile, SKNFA Technical Director Lenny Taylor said there were challenges in getting the team prepared for the big occasion, but he credited the coaching staff for fulfilling the directives of the SKNFA.
I'm happy that I was able to commit to your dream and your direction of where you wanted to take the country in football. And I'm so happy that I was able to contribute to that. Yeah, it was very challenging taking the boys into the camp, worked hard, and the coaching staff delivered on the direction that we wanted to go in and cooperated, and we were able to get to what I called the third best football program in the Caribbean. We are very, very motivated, as we know that's just the beginning.
Sports Minister Samuel Duggins recommitted the government's thrust in developing sports in the country and to use the success of the Sugar Boys to develop sports tourism.
Sports has the amazing ability to unify people. You heard the President said
At that winning moment, enemies became friends. And, we forgot time and space and differences. And that's what sports does globally. And it is something that we intend to use to bring our young people into a new space, but also to bring our country globally more recognition, more sports tourism activities. So we're planning a way for us to deliver on that, the enhancement of stadiums, the invitation of other teams to our shores, both for training and different practice matches. And so there are a number of things that we're putting into an agenda of the future plans for sports tourism. But that also has a spin-off, because it's like a young child being able to see their idols firsthand, and that inspiration you cannot pay for.
Members of the senior men's national football team will return to the Federation on Wednesday afternoon at 1:30 p.m., where they will be greeted with a welcome ceremony at the Cayenne Jet Lounge, followed by a mini motorcade through the streets of Bastille. MSCR Old Road United Lady Jets remain unbeaten in the 2023 Elvis Star Brown Women's League season after a 3-0 routing of Nagico Keon Rockets at the St. Mary's Park in Keon on Sunday. Laranja Wilkinson scored in the 35th and 45th minutes, while Delencia Roberts added a third in the 86th minute. Coach of Old Road, Roger Hendricks, was pleased with his team's performance.
First half was like come out start footage, playing the game how you're supposed to play. Second half we went back in the locker room, started to talk, and then come out second half and started playing. Started stinging on the ball and play one touch and get the goal.
Now the team has been playing well. I don't think you've lost a game yet for this season, right? So what is keeping the girls playing this well?
Training, coming on the training pitch often and keep the function together, togetherness and play.
Coach Tyrone O'Loughlin said he was not satisfied with the players' performance, and the long layoff from their last game impacted their preparations.
I know we could have done better. Coming out of win in Neviss, I know we could do better, but after we left into Neviss, when they don't play football, they don't come out to train. That's what my problem today, a little fitness and not game fit.
The Elvis Star Brown Women's League continues on Wednesday.